What's up, everybody? Welcome to Beyond the DJ Booth, episode 1.
Numero uno. I don't even think we said the title in the trailer.
Might be right.
I think we pointed to the screen, and then that was it.
Yeah.
Nobody ever referred to the title, Beyond the DJ Booth.
And what was inspiration for you?
I mean, we kind of worked on this together a little bit, right? We came up with our own. We definitely chat GPT'd it. I think this was on our own, though. I don't think AI have solved this for us. The rationale or the reasoning for the name was we're not really talking about like scratching, mixing, the actual art or act of DJing. It's more about the business of DJing, I would say, the behind the scenes, like what happens when you're not behind the DJ booth. So beyond the DJ booth. That was my rationale.
Yeah.
What do you agreed to the title? So what are your thoughts on it?
Well, to your point, I think in a podcast format, without gear in front of you, it's hard to like show mixing techniques and all of that stuff. So to me, it was not just the business, but all the things we talked about in the trailer, which is music, all the other things that we cover, travel hacks, possibly war stories, all these things that you hear outside of the booth when you're coming home from a gig, or who knows, just sharing what's taking place. I think like that's kind of, for me, it was all encompassing, vague enough, but also had a little bit of feel of like the DJ booth being like, okay, we're doing DJing, so it's not gonna get.
That's why
lost.
I mean I definitely like the alliteration of Beyond the Booth better. Beyond the Booth just kind of rolls off the tongue, but I didn't want people to overlook it. You know, like I wanted it to like niche down and really say, look, we're two DJs. We're talking about DJ stuff. Like this isn't about a diner. Like I didn't want them to be like, what kind of booth? You know what I mean? So I think that as much as I really loved Beyond the Booth, I feel like adding the DJ part was pretty essential for what we're talking about.
I agree. All
right, so let's talk about last weekend. So I'm here. I'm doing work in the office. Last weekend off for a while. Where are you? You're westbound.
I'm in state. I was in...
Which is rare for you, right?
Really rare. I live in Raleigh. I have yet to do a show in Raleigh. I don't really market to Raleigh.
Right.
You own this market. So
I don't really want it. Unless you want to come work for me, which he doesn't.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, and honestly, like I have enough leads outside of the triangle, as they call it.
He's a traveling man.
Yeah. So, but one market that I have been in frequently is Asheville up in the mountains. And specifically, I think it's an hour more
west,
northwest.
Yeah.
Right? Because I definitely was going up a mountain. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
So Highlands specifically. And randomly, I'm on this venue list. I've never played at this venue before. First time. So the only thing I figured out after the event was that somebody from another venue, which I know how I got on that list, I played there.
Yeah.
They worked for this one venue that I was at this weekend for like literally 2 weeks.
And put you on.
And put me on the list.
Wow.
So again, it goes back to relationship building, why that's so crucial, because you never know where people are going to go. And who knows, you know, I could be on this list for 6 months, 6 years. Who knows?
Right,
you know, but I haven't been taken off.
That's awesome, man.
I get this gig.
It's beautiful up there, right?
Stunning,
dude.
I took some video and posted on my Instagram. It doesn't even do it justice.
Yeah, North Carolina mountains are next level, man.
Totally amazing.
And you were a little early for the leaf change, kind of true fall, but I mean, you were still there like prime time. That's why I love this state, man. I mean, I remember when I was talking to you, you were living in Manhattan. You were going to Florida. You were going, points west. I was just like, man, you're having a kid. You got to get out of the city, man.
Yeah.
Like you should come to Raleigh. It's right in between Florida and New York. And you're like, yeah, maybe I will. The next thing you know, you're buying a house here. But you see why I've never left here, right? You've been to the beaches here.
Yeah.
Amazing. You can walk for miles on the beach.
Totally.
You can drive 4 hours west and be in the mountains. Like there's not a lot of states that are this unique, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So this gig, a lot of things happen at this event. Number one, for those that I haven't shared this publicly really, but had to have hernia surgery. 0 out of 5 stars. Do not recommend that in any form or fashion. You referenced him on the trailer, but Mike Walter, who's like an OG in this industry.
Yes, sir.
Your former podcast partner.
Yeah.
He had hernia surgery.
Okay.
So the day before the surgery, I finally think about, I should call Mike.
Yeah. Get a little insight.
How's this recovery? And I knew that I had a wedding. So the surgery happened on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Sunday was another wedding, not this one I'm referencing.
Right.
So I just want to make sure I'd be okay. And I had to fly to it. It was in Florida. So I call up Mike, and in classic Mike style, he goes, I don't want to sound like a hero here, but he's like, I did a wedding the next day. And I'm like, you bastard. Of course you did.
So
of
you're
course
like, I'm going to be okay.
Yeah. So I'm walking in this totally overconfident.
Yeah, right.
He didn't give me permission to disclose where his hernia was, but just say you can be in different parts of the body.
Okay. All right.
Mine was near my stomach.
Okay.
Didn't realize how important the core is to you.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, it is important.
The day after the surgery and the anesthesia wears off, I'm like, give me the legal narcotics ASAP. There's no way I'm going to make this.
Yeah.
You know?
You were hurt.
Hurting.
Yeah. I talked to you a couple times.
You literally just, like, even if you wanted to lift things,
Yeah.
it just doesn't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Right? So, travel hack number 1 of this podcast, I needed an assistant. And since I don't live in the market, I don't have assistants working for me here locally. And I'm like, we got to go 5 hours. I don't want to pay for someone's hotel. The cool thing about our industry is that we're super, like, supportive of one another.
Yeah.
So I put out a little note on Facebook. Somebody reached out and said, hey, I live about a couple hours from, Asheville area. I'll be glad to help you there. But I still needed to load the gear in.
So here in Raleigh to take it up there. Right. Yeah.
I could have called you, but you would have been $6 million. I don't have that kind of budget. So I was like,
I was actually mad you didn't call me. You came here and I was like, bro, I would have come over there and loaded your shit up for you. Come on.
Dude, you would have held that over my head for so long.
This is terrible.
So anyway, I got a U-Haul van. That's what I do when I
Right.
don't have a vehicle to carry everything.
Yeah.
And I noticed they always try to upsell you.
They do. That's right.
Do you want boxes, blankets,
dolly, yes.
all of it? One of them is movers.
Yeah.
So I go, yeah, I do need some movers. It's just to move it from my upstairs into the van. So they helped me get everything in.
That was awesome.
It literally cost me, I think, $175, but that's for them to
definitely would have
load
taken
in
that.
and load out. Right? So
I
like
still
when
would have taken
home,
175.
they
I
help
would have
me out.
taken that.
Yeah.
Call me next time. I would have taken one.
175?
I would have done it for 155.
And a couple topos.
Yes, and a
Topos.
couple Topo Chicos. Yes.
So that is a humongous travel hack if you're looking in and you're out of the
Yeah,
area.
if you're hurt or
Yeah.
just had surgery or whatever.
Didn't know it was
like you need
available.
help, right?
Yeah. And, it's U-Haul. They're gonna.
And then, but how did you get the person to help you there?
So that's when I did the Facebook post.
right. Okay,
Somebody
right,
showed
right.
up. They helped me out with all of that. But this was an interesting wedding beyond that. Just the fact that there was no formalities.
Yeah.
The only formality was a toast. So this,
Yeah.
what was weird for me as a DJ was looking at the music and going, wait, there's no formality songs. There's no grand entrance, no first dance.
That is weird.
No family dances.
Yeah,
no
yeah,
cake cut.
I mean, a lot of stuff's been cut in years past, but not everything.
And so, I have multiple backups of all these formalities on
Sure.
different devices. I'm like, I'm not loading
Yeah.
anything.
Right. That's
This is
wild.
so bizarre. And for an actual wedding, like I've been to cocktail
Yeah.
parties and done those, but
Yeah,
not
yeah.
for a gig.
Yeah.
So that was the first shocker for me, is like, man, maybe we're getting to that point soon. I don't think it's going to go away like tomorrow.
No, right.
But I don't know if you've been feeling it. I feel
Yeah.
like the formalities have been getting cut more
They
and
have.
more. Now
They
it's
have.
like the cake cut isn't even happening
Right.
these days, where they don't even want
Or
to
it's
announce.
just private. Right.
So it's like,
I'm okay with that.
literally, it's like first dance and 2 family dances
Yeah.
and you're done.
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
I'm fine with it too.
Sure.
Yeah. So anyways, that was the first aha moment for me. I'm like, this is a different wedding than I've ever been to.
Normal. Right.
It's 80 people. So literally it's a 3-hour dance set, 3 to 4 hours actually, because we finished around 6:30. We went till about 11. So 10:30.
That's long.
It's long.
Yeah.
When there's no formalities and
Yeah.
80
yeah.
people,
Nothing to break it up.
you lose 20 people. It's a
Right.
third of your crowd gone.
Right.
So
A fourth, but go ahead. Go on.
You're gonna get me on that one. But you just have to be cognizant of flow. You have to be cognizant of.
But you said you ripped it.
Yeah, it's the best set I've ever played, and I rarely.
I've never
say
heard
that.
you say that.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I hear a lot of DJs. They'll get online.
Killed
I'll
it.
rip that, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
There's always.
Yeah,
I do
something.
sections where it's good.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
this
yeah.
literally from start to finish was probably it was one of my best sets I've
Damn.
ever played.
that's magical, man.
So
That shit right there will keep you doing it for another 10, 15, 20 years. Shows like that where you're just like, dude, I was feeling it. They were feeling me.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's a smaller crowd, so you have to keep them there.
yeah,
Right,
pace
'cause-
is important.
Yes.
Right. Like if you hit them too hard,
Waves. Right.
yes, you
You're
have
right.
to kind of mix it in and around. And they didn't give me much to go off of either. That
Yeah.
was the other thing. They gave me maybe 10 songs. They were okay.
Yeah.
Nothing like it was super shocking.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just
love it, man.
one of those things. So musically, I've been changing my flow on asking questions. And one of the things that I ask now is to tell their story through music. I want to find out what are some songs that are like chapter markers in your life? And I don't even ask for that many, up to 10. And those have had great stories with them. I never thought that kind of a question would,
resonate with people. Yeah.
And they don't have to even be for the wedding. It could be just in general. So the lady, the bride, goes, she gave me 1 of 10. The only song she gave me was Brick House, which I haven't had that on the request sheet. Right? Yeah. Probably in, I think last time I've seen it on a request list may have been 10 years ago. I just don't get it.
I don't either.
Not that there's anything wrong with this track.
It's a generational thing. Right.
Yeah. Just, I think maybe they're not into it as much.
That's right.
Anyway, this one's on there. And the story goes that her mom used to play this at the house. No rhyme or reason.
Sure.
And that was just a song that stuck in her head. It was like, that's one of my mom's favorite songs.
Yeah.
So I knew I needed to drop it at the right moment and try to figure out a way to get out of it too, because I didn't want to play the whole thing. So I had a short edit. And I guess what I wanted to share with everybody listening is that, when you're downloading tracks, I'm always looking at it like, maybe I don't know where I'm going to place this track. I'm going to download because maybe it might be something I could use.
It might go, right?
So I found this Diggs blend where he took Espresso, the song by Sabrina Carpenter, which is super hot.
That's super hot.
And he played it over Brick House.
Let's look. Can we hear this?
Let's give it a little
Saquon,
taste.
let's hear this.
So what's cool about that is that I went out of the chorus of Brick House into this little segue of this. Yeah. I'm in it for like 30, 40 seconds, pretty much as long as this clip that we just played, and then on to something else. But it was enough where the mom heard the chorus, she loved it.
Yeah.
And everyone else was like, oh man, we're going retro. God, I hope we're not in this set for too long. And I just moved right into this. We're back into current. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's clean.
I'll probably never play that edit again.
Yeah.
But it was there and I took it just because who knows? There might be a spot where I could use it,
Dude, that was, yeah. I mean, I could definitely see using that. I mean, just again, because you and I were talking off air about I haven't really found the perfect edit of that song. I love that song and it's super catchy. And it was definitely contender for Song of the Summer, but I haven't really found the perfect edit of it.
Yeah.
All right. So anything else about the gig you want to say before we move on to the meat of this?
The one more story I'll give you. This was toast heavy, 5 toasts.
Okay.
And I don't know if they come from a background of acting or whatnot, but these people were given incredible toast, just hilarious. One guy's like, hey, I think the guy was in tech. And so he's
the groom, you mean?
The groom. Yeah. He's in tech security.
Yeah.
And so 2 of his people from his crowd, they weren't even groomsmen. They didn't even have groomsmen. They were just like them essentially. But they go, we hacked into your Gmail because you don't have it secured down. And everyone laughed because this guy's in cybersecurity.
Sure.
And they found a Myers-Briggs test of his from back in high school because he doesn't know how to use the archive feature either, apparently.
Right.
And they basically went through it and just roasted him, right?
No.
But it was great. I mean, everyone's laughing, even the groom's laughing, right? So then the bride's parents come up. And I just thought this was the most bold speech ever from the bride's mom. She goes, it's kind of a bittersweet day today. She goes, I spent the whole morning going through my phone and deleting out all of, I think her name was Kyle's ex-boyfriends from the list, from the phone. She goes,
her contacts list or the pictures?
No, they're from the contacts list within her phone.
What?
And she goes, and I'm really going to miss a few of them. She says this. And I'm looking at the groom going, this is such a dick.
Your hand on the mic. Do I need to kill this?
She's had a few. And she goes, yeah. And she tried to save it by saying his name was Bart. And she goes, but Bart takes the cake. And I'm just like, that's not a good enough save.
Wow. But was she doing it intentionally or did it just get away from her?
I think she had a few too many to drink. So this was real her.
Oh,
she didn't think it was offensive at all.
Right.
But it was just one of those things.
It makes me cringe right now. I got my, yeah. That's gross. I don't like it.
So it was just funny, one of those asides. But great gig. And it was awesome.
Well, so we promise people, I love to hear about the gigs and I love to hear tracks that I don't have and probably don't have the time to dig up like you do. But let's talk about a question, because what we are always going to try and do, and really I think kind of the backbone of this podcast, if you will, is trying to take questions from the people that are listening to it and implement them into the show and give our take on it. And a friend of ours, we both know him, JK from Cincinnati, Ohio. We kind of trickled out a little Google Forms. And if you guys ever see us looking up like this, we have a monitor up here where we kind of reference things that we're reading, kind of like a prompter. We'll probably move it down lower later. But for now, it's up there because that's where it was, screwed into a concrete wall. And damn it, I ran out of time. So anyway, let's read the question and then kind of go through it. It's kind of a lengthy question. You know who hates a long question? Jason Jani. JK, be glad that Jason Jani is not on this podcast, because he would fillet you for writing a long question.
We've been doing this DJ Collective conference for a couple years now.
Yeah.
We switched up the format and now doing this membership thing this year, right?
Yeah.
And this is kind of where we came up with the idea, right? Because
absolutely, yeah, we've been doing these calls. We've done, I mean, we committed to a year and we've done
37.
How many?
37. Trust me, I'm
37 of the 52. We've gone live every Monday night since January 1 or whatever. I think you've only missed one.
I missed a couple.
You have missed a couple? I think I've missed one.
Yeah.
And Jason's missed one or two.
Yeah.
So other than that, all three of us have been on these mentor calls, but that's kind of where we got this idea. So let's hear what he's talking about.
So the question is this: what is most important to planners when considering what higher tier DJ they use? Is it appearance of the gear and yourself? Is it their availability to communicate throughout the planning process? Or the other option, is it them knowing your skill level and ability to provide more than just a dope set? Great question. And let me say this too. I think one of the cool things about these questions that we're getting submitted is that we both sometimes think completely different. Sometimes we're exactly spot on. And I've loved kind of hearing your takes on these things. And to what we've done in this in the past, we've never really pre-screened what our answers are going to be. So why don't I open the floor to you? What would you say to this?
I definitely think that you are more in this event planner luxury space, but I will say that over the last, let's call it 5 to 10 years here at Bunn DJ Company, and I'm mainly speaking about the Raleigh office right now, I don't remember, and Saquon will probably back me up, I don't remember the last time we did a show that didn't have a professional wedding planner at it. So, that alone just kind of shows you what happens when you start to ascend in the pricing world. You don't have to be the wedding planner and the DJ. Yeah. And so without going through each line of this question, at the end of the day, it's all of these things, right? I mean, there are countless reasons why these planners recommend us. And I'm not even just speaking about Joe Bunn in particular. I'm speaking about any of the 23 guys that work here in the Raleigh office. It's definitely the way they look. They dress well. They're dressed sharp. They look like they're supposed to be there. Even when they show up to load in, they've got on a company polo and probably their slacks. Their gear, whether they have a Bunn Gear Command Center or not, they've at least got professional gear. All the cables are taped down. You like how I plug that? Their communication, is critical, like he says in this. If they're sending us a PDF, we respond back to it. Yes, that looks great. Yep, we'll be there at 4:00. It's immediate. It's not 2-3 days later. It's if they get an email, and again, all of my guys have a job, like another job. But I tell them, look, I don't care if it's 6:00 when you get home from your other job, check your Bunn DJ Company email. So they respond back to the planners in time. What was the other thing? And just being a great DJ. And then at the very core of it all is just being a good person. Yeah. How well do you communicate with them, the other people working the wedding, the catering staff, the lady that runs the banquet hall, the bride, the groom, the people that are coming up to you asking for requests? It all rolls into a giant ball of, do I want to recommend this person again? And if you're an asshole, or if you're walking in demanding food or, hell no, I'm not setting up there. Absolutely not. Like, call whoever you need to. Like, if you're that kind of person, or a no man is what I call them, instead of just basically being a yes man, like whatever you need, I'll get it done. You know what I mean? Then nobody's going to recommend you, man. It's sometimes that simple, and I think people overcomplicate it. Yeah. Anyway, I'm rambling. Go on. What do you think about this?
No, to your point, in the Florida market where we built our name in the multi-op world, it's a destination market. You usually will be fed, like almost, I don't want to knock the knot or wedding wire here, but like you almost don't need those platforms because everything is still ran through the planner first.
Yeah.
It's a destination place. They're going to hire the planner who's going to help them find all these people.
Yeah.
I learned that really quickly early on, that the old school method of referrals from not the venue even, but literally the planner controls that process.
Yeah.
So you got to learn how to play in that sandbox. And as you ascend kind of more on the pricing scale of going up, to your point, it's almost automatic. You're going to have a planner who's going to manage that stuff.
That's right.
As far as the vendor selection and even who's being presented. Sometimes they'll send you 2 or 3 different people within a price range, or maybe it's 3 different price points, and you got to be in their good graces, right? So to me, I think you kind of hit it already, but one is being just a good human and just like, that doesn't mean necessarily that the answer is always yes to certain things. To me, when they ask me like, what is your style? What do you do?
Yeah.
What you don't want to say is whatever you want me to do.
Yeah.
Right? Because to me, that shows that you really don't have it figured out. Like you don't have a lane. Like, I don't know what does that even mean? Like you're just going to be a chameleon and do whatever. Like, I don't want that. I want to know what your strengths are.
Yeah.
What are your weaknesses? What don't you do well? Do you want to be doing games and, pony shows and making, animals out of balloons? Or are you just going to mix really great? Like, I need to know like what you do is really well. And I think as you go up in price, that becomes one of the most important things to the last part of your question about skill set and stuff. It's not so much because that's subjective. Like, is somebody great? They don't know. They're not in the industry. Yeah. From the standpoint of DJing, right? Yeah. But what they do know is this is what they focus on. This is their calling card, whatever that is for you. So you first, before you even start kind of talking to planners, is figure out who you are. Figure out what it is that you want to be doing and be able to confidently say, this is what I'm looking to do. Do we mesh? Does the clientele that you have like what I do? And hopefully there's more yeses than nos in that regard, right? So I think that's big. And then the second thing I would say is it's a long game. It's a long man's game. Like if you think this is going to turn around quickly by just trying to like get the sell, at least my experience has been that doesn't happen in the next week. No. So you have to build the relationship. Like people want to not feel like you're just using them for a gig, which maybe that is the ultimate win, is to be working with them. Yeah, yeah. But if you come in thirsty, like I just want the gig, that's a problem.
It's a long game.
Right.
Not even a question, man. I mean, this stuff has taken me years and years. I've talked about it ad nauseum. I still go to the networking meetings. I still, send out gifts. I still, am in planning a taco luncheon for every planner in town. Like, it is long game and it's relentless. And if you're not going to sit there and be that guy and or girl and have your foot on the gas the whole time, you're going to lose your footing and you're going to lose your traction, and you're not going to be the top of the market, and you're not going to get the recommendation from these people. And so I don't know, man. It's just one of those things where it is so much more valuable and so much more, I guess, ROI than the not ads. No offense to them, or Wedding Wire, or whatever online platform came out. That's
even Instagram or whatever Facebook ads. Yeah.
It's just that network, that the look, the gear, being a good person, treating people well at the event has so much more staying power, I guess, than anything else.
He said it in there and you reference it too, but also just getting back to people. Yeah. I hear it from planners all the time.
Crazy.
It's like, hey, I don't hear back from the DJ for 2 or 3 weeks. It makes our industry look bad, but if you really, it's so simple.
It's crazy.
It's like so simple.
Even people do it to me. Like, right. It's unbelievable sometimes. Like, it's not that hard to respond. You're not a celebrity. Yeah, I get it. We're all busy. But and I'm getting messaging, and so are the people listening, from DM on Instagram, Facebook Messenger, texting, phone calls, website inquiry. I can probably name 10 different channels that stuff is coming in to me. Yeah. And other than the inquiries about shows that come to the website, which Randy handles, I'm responding to all of those. Like, you can't say you pinged me on some channel and I didn't get back to you, because it might be a day, but I'm going to get back to you. And that would probably be as long as I let it linger, unless some kind of spam capture grabbed it or something like that. I got back to your ass.
There you go.
Anything else on this one, man? I feel like this is a good stopping point. I hope we helped JK out. Shout out Cincinnati.
Yeah, good chili there. I know it's random, but they do. They do. It's called... they're known for it. Have you ever eaten
I've never been there.
You never been? Oh, dude. Well, see, I think that's what it is. My grandparents grew up close to Cincy.
Okay.
So I went there for years, and they're known for two different chili companies. The only one I can remember is Skyline chili. It's everywhere, and they put like a ton of cheese on it.
Okay,
I
love
fresh.
chili
it's
at the right time of year.
Baked potato.
Not in the summer.
Oh
yeah,
so
I'll smash that. Okay,
yeah,
it's good to know. Good to know. Well, everybody, Beyond the DJ Booth, episode 1 is in the can. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Stick around. Many more episodes to come. Hopefully, if Brian keeps showing up here at the studio, and you guys keep showing up and listening. Thank y'all.
See ya.